everybody. Welcome back to the Natural Solutions podcast. Today, I have a very special guest that I've known for a really long time, but I haven't physically seen in years. So I want to introduce you to her. She is my friend Marta here in Portugal, where we live, and we've lived here for a while in an area called Cascais, and we both recently moved out to the country, which was probably the best decision that we both made as we were previously talking. So Marta, can you tell us a little bit about your story and who you are and how you got into fitness?
So my name is Marta. I'm 45 years old. I have 3 kids, and we've known. How long do we know each other? Like
20 years.
20 something years. It was before I got married, so
yep, that's true.
I was like 22, 21. So as I was little, 2, 3 years old, I was diagnosed with asthma. I don't know how you...
It's asthma. Yeah, it's the same.
So I struggled till I was 10, 11, really hard. I was always in the hospital. I would take medicine all the time. I was a chubby girl, but I didn't eat that much to be chubby. It was because of the medication. I was always struggling to play with my friends because they would run. I couldn't run. I'd run like 1 minute or 2 and I couldn't breathe. So I was never a fitness or a very active girl growing up. And then my mother tried to put me in ballet classes.
Oh, nice.
But I really love ballet, but because I was so different from all the ballerinas that were there, they were so skinny and so slim and so elegant, I didn't feel like it was for me. I felt ashamed. I was so different from them. So when I started my teenage years, like 11, 12, I went to try a gym class, an aerobic class, like Jane Fonda. Lots of lycra and
spandex. I'm just kidding.
Yes, I used to wear that too. But it felt good. I was the smallest one in the class. I was only 11 or 12, and all the other people were grown up. They weren't looking at me. I felt like I belonged there. It was funny. The music was loud. I can do whatever I want, and I felt comfortable. And when I started to do more exercise, my asthma almost disappeared.
Interesting. So you didn't have to be on these corticosteroids anymore.
Yeah. Nowadays, I don't even do medication. Although it's a chronic disease, it never goes away. When I was 14, 15, I stopped having symptoms. So I think fitness has a huge part on that. Then there was a time I went to college and I wasn't really happy with my life because I was studying economics, and I thought that would be my future because I was such a good student. I was an A student in maths all my life, and I really thought that economics was my future. But in the first year, I noticed that wasn't for me. That's when we met. I started to look for options. I did a fitness instructor
course,
and then I started to dance, and we had a dance group.
Yep.
And I never pursued economics anymore. That's where my life went.
Wow.
So today.
Yeah. So I remember over the years kind of running into you at some gyms and seeing you teaching fitness classes and stuff like that. But you have come to a completely different point right now in your life after having 3 kids, after recovering from asthma. But from what I've seen of your journey on social media, you have a very large following here in Portugal, obviously. because you deliver your products in Portuguese. But you recently wrote a book and you recently created an app. So why don't you tell us about how you went through that progress?
That has to do with my mom life.
Okay, tell me about that.
I think that it's a Marta before having kids, and then another Marta was born. When I had Salvador, I was 28 years old. I was teaching classes from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. It was crazy. I didn't even get to see my son awake. But that's the life of a personal trainer or a fitness professional, at least here in Portugal. And I almost had a breakdown there, but I'm a very practical person, and I'm always trying to find something that it is for me. I can do, and I feel happy and comfortable. So there was a time that I tried to leave the practical side of fitness, trying to teach less classes. I started to be a manager, fitness manager, and trying to have more regular times to be with my family. Then Pilar came, mother of two, a little more struggle to be everywhere. And when I decided to have Marta, she's my youngest, she's 5 years old now. I was almost 40 years old.
Wow.
And that it was a hard decision to have a third child, because the lack of sleep the other two gave me I felt like empty from inside. And I struggled to have a third one, but I've always told my husband that I wanted to have 3 children. So I was almost 40 years old, and I told him it's now or never. If we don't do it now, I will never have another kid. So Marta came, and during that time, I was working out every day, doing my stuff, but my head started to think different. I wanted to be my own boss, not being a slave of all the other stuff. And I wanted to create more time for me and work in what I love, because I love fitness. This is what I love to do: teach people and share my experiences. And I started to see, because I had some more time free when I was pregnant with Marta. I enjoyed all my manager perks that time. So I started to create some content and share some experiences. And I noticed that we could build a community there, because women from everywhere have children. They have the same struggles, though lives are different. But we started to create a community, and things started to happen online. I started to see that it was a really good way to express myself and to reach more people. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then I had my online guides starting to sell. I had my videos going well, but from the 12th to the 13th of March, we didn't have nothing to do. We didn't have nothing to work with. And my clients started to ask me, Marta, we are going home, but please teach us live classes through Instagram. I never have done a live classes anywhere. I remember my first class, I turned the
Camera?
phone, so I wasn't seeing, because I thought the image would be better. I didn't know how it works, but I was there. So it started from there. I created a much bigger community, and after 3 months, I started to create some private groups, which people would pay me, because since week 1, I had people telling me, Marta, we have to pay you something. You are working every day for us. And I was thinking, how am I going to turn this into something profitable, fair for me and for them? And I always had in mind to build an app, but here in Portugal, we didn't have anyone inside the app world and related to fitness. No one knew about it.
Yeah, there's nobody.
So I never stopped looking for, but I created a private page on Instagram, and it started there. A year after, I'm always thinking about the next thing. I love to write. I've always wrote diaries, and I'm always writing everywhere. Even now, I write all my classes. I write everything, and I started to find a publisher because I really wanted to share my journey since I was a kid till mom life, giving tips to women. And a publisher found me that during that time. I was reaching publishers. They would tell me, no, we don't have that need now. And then a publisher found me telling me, oh, that's really what we want to do now. So I started to write that book, and it's here.
Yeah. So why don't you tell people a little bit more about the things that you cover in your book?
I tell a bit about myself, where I started, my child years, where I come from, what I've studied, my struggles during my life, because what I do now, it has everything to do with what I am and what I come from.
Yeah.
And then I ask help from a doctor, a women's doctor. I don't know,
like a gynecologist.
Yes. And a nutritionist and a psychologist.
Oh, wow.
So we can all talk about emotions during pregnancy and postpartum. So I talk about me, and then I talk about pregnancy and postpartum. And I have lots of testimonies, lots of clients' testimonies, and the testimonies, the doctor's testimonies, and tips of how to deal with this and that, and during that time. And I provide some, it's not a workout plan, but suggestions to do in both phases.
Amazing.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
I love my book.
It's actually really beautiful. I love the cover of your book too. So it's really fantastic. So just for you guys to know, Marta, she's quite the entrepreneur, because she kind of does everything on her own, and she has done it with, we were just talking about her husband in the background. So she has quite the economic brain, although she might.
Yeah. I think it comes from there.
Yeah. It really, really sounds like it. It really, really, really sounds like it. So I actually have some other questions that came up before we continue. Was there a point in time where you felt like there was a real big body and mind transformation in your life, or at various times that maybe you could share with us?
Yes, I can tell you that before we met, when I was from 16 to 18, 19, I was anoretic.
Okay. So you had anorexia.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it all has to do with that body image issues that were always there. I was the chubby one, the girl with the beautiful eyes.
That's true.
You see? The girl with the beautiful eyes. Oh, this one is so beautiful. Oh, this one has such a beautiful eyes. And in the middle of all that, because nothing happens just because.
Sure.
All things connect in our life. My grandmother died that time. I was raised really close to her, and my father had some business issues. We had to move places. I was about to enter the university, but I wasn't sure if that was the right decision for me. So it all came to that body image. Anything that I could control, what I could control, it was what I would eat or not eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I got really, really sick that time. I weighed in my worst phase like 30 kilos. I lost lots of hair. I was just bones and skin. My teeth started to fall.
Yeah.
They would disintegrate. Pain everywhere, hair everywhere. I got really sick in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And I thought I saw my parents, they suffered so hard because they didn't know
What was going on?
was happening, what they did for that situation to come to that point. And then, as I am stubborn, I lost my period immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. On the first month, I started to not to eat. I lost my period, and my period only came after we met.
Wow. So that was years later.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But that time, the main disease, it only lasts like 1.5 years or 2. It seems like a really long time, but it was like 1.5 years or 2 until I went to a doctor, and someone told me, she asked me, "You don't want to be mother, is that it?"
Wow.
And that started to ting, 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 because if you continue to do this, you are going to die. Or if you don't die, you are going to have health problems for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then I started to do everything. It took a long time.
Yeah.
To feel better, and for this to feel better.
Yeah.
Because it's a mental issue. These bulimias and anorexias and feeding compulsions, it's like a drug addict. It's relatively easy to solve the physical part of it, but the mental part of it, for you to be strong, not to think, it's like you have another voice telling you, don't eat, you want to be skinny, you want to be like the other girls. And then you have the other voice telling you, no, you have to be healthy, look at you. It was a really difficult time for me, but I'm here. And I felt like that time gave me tools for me to know myself. Like, I don't know many people who knows their body and themselves like I do. I really know myself. I know my limits. I know where I can go to physically and mentally. And then the other time was when I became a mother, because I've always wanted to have kids. And I really think that when a woman have kids, another woman is born.
So this is just a question, but wasn't it hard for you mentally to think, oh no, now I'm going to get fat because I'm getting pregnant?
No, because at that time, my head was really, really well solved.
Amazing.
That happened like 3, 4, 5 years before. I would think like that way. But the dance also helped me a lot. People not judging each other, and fitness too, because there was a time that I was so skinny and I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't even go to the gym, and that messed with me, because I know the gym wasn't a way for me to get skinnier. It was a way for me to feel stronger and healthier and fit, which is the opposite. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, so this is like some really amazing points you made, because there is a huge mindset shift post what you went through, and also with pregnancy, and looking at things in a different perspective, not just, feeling fat and losing weight, but to the being strong and
Yeah.
mentally and physically. So just to kind of bring this to a close so I don't take too much more of your time, if you could tell women right now any things that you feel that would really help them start on an exercise journey or just getting strong, what would those things be?
First of all, you need to find something enjoyable. You need to find, you don't have to do hits every day to be strong and to lose weight. Find something enjoyable. Exercise is only like 5% of a weight loss program or
Sure.
project.
Sure.
I think people don't think like that, but it's starting to come out studies that show us that exercise is only like 5% of your day. So you don't need to aim to lose maximum calories on that half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. And also you don't need to waste 2 hours training every day. If you want to, if you feel okay, if you have the time, go ahead. But you don't need to do that to be healthy and to feel strong. My workouts, the workouts that I share on my app, most workouts are between 15 and half an hour.
Amazing.
Sometimes I do like a 40-minute workout, 45 for that fitness junkie that I have, that Marta, we need some classes like this. And sometimes I do that. But most of my classes, they are in between 15 and half an hour. If people want to do more, they can do 2 classes or 3 if they want to. But if they do just one, they will feel okay and they will get those benefits.
Yeah.
So I think that is really important. And stop thinking about cardio, the only tool to lose weight. It's not the best. It's not the way. People need to do strength training. And strength training doesn't mean like you need to go to the gym, to all those machines and buy a 20-kilo kettlebell. No, you can do with body weight, but you need to keep that muscle mass, or at least, if not gaining muscle mass, at least keep what you have, because it will give you health now and in the near future and on the long run.
Yeah, and I think what you said is really important, starting with body weight training, especially if you're a beginner in this kind of area. I mean, we've had many years in the gym and many years to figure out how all these kinds of things work, but the gym can be a very intimidating place for some people. So if you were to recommend starting to work out at home, what kinds of things would you recommend that people start with?
First of all, you must subscribe my app.
That's the first thing.
No, but it's important to start. You have so many good trainers online, even on YouTube, because people usually, if they are not used to train, they don't know what to do or where to start. So these days you have so many good trainers online. Find someone you like, you relate, you and start from there. I think it's good not to do anything just because. Find someone and something that you like, and don't think about doing like 1 hour, half an hour every day. Start with 10 minutes. Just start 10 minutes, and then you see where that takes you. Because people often struggle with time, especially mothers. That's why I turn to the online business. I think it's such a great, how do I say, like, it's not a fraction. It's like you have the gyms, you have the outdoors, you have the online world, which it's such a great tool for us busy women, mothers, Sometimes men ask me, I can do your workouts. Yeah, you can. But when I think about my programs, my workouts, I think about women.
Sure.
Busy women. They don't have much time. They can do the workouts in their pajamas. They can do 7 a.m. They can do 10 p.m. I have clients sending me messages. See, I'm training.
Oh my
But
gosh.
that's what works for them.
Yeah.
We are all different, and I think the workout, the online world it brought us so much good options for us.
Yeah, lots of opportunities. So basically,
Yes.
what you're saying is we don't have an excuse anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Either you want or you don't.
Or you don't. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's very, very, very good advice. And if there was one more thing that you'd like to share with us, what would that be?
Don't neglect your sleep and recovery too.
Amazing.
Because that's something that I've seen over the years, and still today, people neglect their sleep. As mothers, most of us are used not to getting enough hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with that since day one. I knew that would be a problem for me when I was pregnant, just when I was pregnant with my first, but I didn't know it would take such a toll on me.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of sleep, because I know my body so well, I know myself so well, I knew I would suffer with that. And the lack of sleep doesn't let you think right, doesn't let you work right, doesn't let you feel all right from inside. And it's not just having bags. Yeah, it's not just the bags. It's much deeper than that, and it's really important. I started now to go to bed like 9 p.m. before my kids. I say bye, I'm out. I go to the bed, I turn the TV on, I stay there, but when I'm sleepy, I sleep. And that's the best. We have always so much in hands. We have to wash the dishes, we have to wash clothes, we have to do their meals. If we keep doing everything we need to do, we don't live. We don't have nothing for us.
Yeah.
So don't neglect sleep and recovery.
Amazing.
It's really important.
So it sounds like we also have to be quite organized.
Sometimes I'm not the most organized person, but I started not to stress with that. I used to be a perfectionist. I have to do this at 8, this at 9. And since I'm a mother of 3, I don't care anymore. I have some bullet points and I have to do that through the day. I don't stress with anything.
Well, Marta, I want to thank you so much for joining us right now on this episode of podcast of Natural Solutions. Could you tell people where they can find you on Instagram and your website?
They can find me, like, if they search Marta Moura Fit, they find me everywhere. They find my book, they find my website, they find my app. I'm Marta Moura Fit everywhere.
And that also means that my English-speaking people need to learn Portuguese. So
that's amazing. It's amazing that you made me this invitation, because when I started my Instagram long time ago, I used to do everything in English, because yes, my page was entirely in English. And all the partnerships proposals that I get was from the United States or even Canada too.
Wow.
And when I told people, oh, but I'm Portuguese, oh, I thought you were, they didn't even know that I was Portuguese. So that way I started to think I have to talk in Portuguese so people here the brands here can reach me. And I started to change everything to Portuguese. But my app builders, they are from South Africa and England. So I speak to them all the time. And last week they were telling me, Marta, you have to start teaching classes in English. we have to take your app overseas everywhere. But it's really hard for me because most of my followers, like 50,000 of them, they are Portuguese. If I start to hear in Portugal, it amazes me because lots of people don't understand English. It's not that they don't talk; they don't understand English. I don't know how that can happen.
I don't know. I mean, but
Do
I
you
guess,
find that?
well,
Do you find that?
here's something that's interesting. There's so many people moving here now that are all English speakers, and they want a better life for their kids, and they're moving here, or they just want a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I guess there's another niche to start looking at too, which is English speakers that are living abroad in this country.
Yeah.
But I think what you're doing is amazing because you are actually hitting a niche that needs support too. Not everything has to be an English,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
So that's
It's
true.
true.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm
Thank you.
going to stop the recording button, and that's it. Thank you everybody for joining us. If you need any help or any support, you can find me at Mind Body Coach Maya, and you can find Marta at Marta Moura Fit. That's MartaMoura. Thanks for joining us.